Elon Musk declared today that the terms cis and cisgender are hate speech and slurs and will not be tolerated on Twitter anymore. 2 quick points, and then we'll get into the story. Number 1, Twitter is a private company, and they can regulate what goes on their platform as they wish, unless they're doing it at the behest or the coordination with the government, like we saw during the pandemic, and then that would be a First Amendment violation. But this does not appear to fall into that category. This is just Elon proclaiming from above because he's the owner of the company. 2, I want to make it perfectly clear that these made-up terms, cis and cisgender, are purposely designed to be offensive. And I take offense. I don't think anybody who's straight, I think I like that term better, wants to be called cis or cisgender. It's an insult. But that doesn't necessarily mean I agree with the labeling as a slur or as hate speech. Let's take a look at the story. Elon Musk vows to suspend Twitter users for harassment over slurs like cisgender and cis. The censure was in response to a tweet by conservative commentator James Esses. Let's take a quick look at his bio. Commentator and co-founder of Thoughtful Therapists, focusing on the impact of ideology on society and safeguarding of children. Oh, I like that description. He's on Team Reality, and he's followed by Libs of TikTok, Riley Gaines. This sounds like somebody, although I've never read anything he's written, it sounds like somebody that I would have a general agreement with. Oh my God, this is awful. Just within the hour, midday on Wednesday, he reports that he's been bombarded with death wishes. All because he dared to reject an ideological label being imposed upon him. Those people who are so quick to throw around the word bigot need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Well, that's so true. How many examples of the tolerant left have we seen until you say something that they don't like? Then they're not so tolerant anymore, are they? Going back to the original tweet, Jesse says, just imagine if the roles were reversed. Bingo, Jesse, absolutely. Which brings us to the Elon Musk tweet. Repeated targeted harassment against any account will cause the harassing accounts to receive, at a minimum, temporary suspensions. Well, I totally agree with that policy. Then he adds, the words cis and cisgender are considered slurs on this platform. Let me tell you why I think that's a mistake. And, once again, let me just remind you, I think, and I strongly believe, that those terms are purposely offensive and are designed and used on the internet as offensive terms. I take offense to them, but I don't want them to be banned. And remember, for those constitutionalists out there, this is not a First Amendment issue because it's not at the behest or in coordination with the government. I think Christopher Rufo has the best explanation as to why these terms and other terms like them should not be banned, even on the private platform of Twitter and the like. Who is Chris Rufo? He's from the Manhattan Institute. He's on the leading edge fighting the woke agenda, especially at colleges and universities across the country. So, a very high-rated source, in my opinion. Here's the money quote. No, it doesn't help the right to deem cisgender a slur. It legitimizes the left-wing frame regarding hate speech. There's a famous book about that. The policy degrades the reputation of Twitter, which is a huge asset for the right currently, as we do not have mainstream media power. Again, not productive on the long term. On the short term, it might seem like a win. But what are we really buying into? So not only does the policy legitimize the concept of hate speech, but it also legitimizes the term cisgender by acknowledging it at all. Watch. Back to the New York Post, and deeper in the article, a reference to the German sexologist that came up with the term back in the early 90s. If there are transsexuals, he wrote, logically there must be cissexuals. One is not to be thought of without the other. I have allowed myself to introduce the terms. In other words, in order to the guy who invented the term, who's completely off his rocker, acknowledging the term, even if your acknowledgement is to ban it, basically legitimizes the dichotomy between straight people and transgender people. I don't even think we should use the word transgender, because when you use that word in discussion, you're buying into this falsehood. It's a falsehood, right? You're buying into the false. So don't use that term, and don't use cisgender either, but don't go along with bans, because when you start banning words, even on a private sector platform like Twitter, where does that really end? So be careful, conservatives. Are you against speech codes as a blanket statement, or are you kind of okay with them if it goes on your side of the ledger? Hey, I'm John F. Gately. You can call me Jack. I'm broadcasting to you from beautiful Plymouth, America's hometown. It is a beautiful day here in Plymouth. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.